Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Bozmos2, where we are playing Chaco. It's turn 59. Let's jump into things. Okay, so potentially big, busy turn for us. We have completed Enchantment 7. On our way up, Alteration. We did an Augury, Auspex, another Augury, nothing. A Voice of Apsu has found a Well of White Water. That's a +1 water site. Cool. Gnome Lore found nothing. Dark Knowledge found a Witch's Bog. And that is a +1 water, +1 death. So our death income is up to 4. Sweet. We're actually generating death gems now. Nice. And actually, Bergamum is a pretty fucking dope-ass site for us now. Witch's Bog, Furbog Fortress, Farm of Plenty, Lava Lake, and Weeping Stone. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gems just out of Bergamum. Very, very strong province for us. Gnome Lore found nothing. Horospex found nothing. This Auspex found nothing, but we found a Mercury Pond with the Voice of Apsu. So that's another 2 water gems. Actually, our water income kind of skyrocketed this turn. I think we went from... So we found 3 via site searching. 3 additional water gems. I think we got +4 off of provinces captured. Obviously, right, those are going to fluctuate, but we are sitting at pretty damn good water income right now. Just cool. So let's take a look at some of these battles, right? We have an attack in the Underdark. And this is just up against a little bit of Kangobian PD. He's got a Black Hawk that lands and gets killed. Unfortunately, does not like mess up our timeline, our casting too terribly much on our Moncasina. Able to get the full buff cycle off. 32 protection, 20 attack skill. Should be pretty good. Does he have... He does not, so... He didn't cast... I wonder if he's not set to cast Prayer of Earth. Either way, though, he attacks quite quickly and is able to cut through everyone with his Frostbrand via the Earth, Soften Earth, and Vine Shield. No attacks, I think, even get to him. Let's actually take a quick look. Let's do an overview of how our Moncatsinas do against these little groups. Right? So repels the dive, repels the talons. Repelled. This hits for 0 damage. This was repelled. Fucking Christ. Like, yeah. So, between not being able to attack because of the Earth, Maws of the Earth, basically, or the Vine Shield, and then everything else being repelled, a single attack got through, and that single attack could not break through our 32 protection. So, very cool. That is exactly what we like to see. 11 kills there for that Moncatsina. Nice. Attacked into Takregus. Hopefully this is going to be a similar situation. Oh no! This is a much larger force. Still, mostly seems to be just Kangobs, maybe some soldiers, a mix of younglings in here, right? He's got a couple of shamans in here, right? And a couple of breeders. These breeders being corpse eaters are kind of interesting. They're army healers and corpse eaters. That's a little strange. Breeders need to eat 40 corpses to become a mother. after which they will give birth to 3d6 pups and transform back into a breeder. What? What weird cycle is this? I wonder if Kangobia has some way to, like, generate corpses. Are they supposed to be like a death nation? That doesn't seem... That seems very strange. There's also a Lamia in here. And there's a couple of these Kangobian shamans, right? But hopefully none... These are all the nature type, the fire nature type. So no shock casts in here. Shock, lightning bolt, basically. Ember armor, personal regeneration, prayer of earth. All right, so it looked like that other one just didn't have prayer of earth up. So we need to make sure we adjust that. But this guy, even with all of this reinvigoration, he is not neutral encumbrance because of all of this gear. Yeah. So, we got to worry about fatiguing out. Okay, again, the combination here is... well, actually, the combination here is different. We've got Vine Shield, but then we've got Scutata Volturnus, which is going to auto-shocking Grasp, which is going to help kill more people, and stun up some of them. Not bad. Cool. And the Flood of Spiders comes in. Again, fortunately, we should never be affected by these spiders because they can only do 1 damage. They have armor piercing, right? But they have to explode so freaking bad. An exploding die. They would have to roll really, really, really high to get a bite off. And for it to... One, they have super low magic resistance to try to get through the Vine Shield. Very low attack skill to even hit us in the first place, and then pretty baseline defense skill for us to repel. So, in theory, we should never take damage from this death poison. In theory. In theory. Please don't death poison me. Okay. Our pretty high attack values basically meant every time we swing, we're scoring good hits, killing multiple people. So, did a very good job. Sweet. A whole bunch of units ran on that battle. Killed 95, found a temple, razed a temple. Nice. Very cool. We've got a battle in the Iron Caves. And this is up against the Mind Slime Horror. Okay, so this guy is Astral 5. He's got a bunch of gems. He's very high attack skill, very high defense skill. Whole bunch of attacks. These attacks are armor-piercing attacks, but they're relatively low damage. Right, so what we sent in was a Monketsina with magic resistance gears to prevent ourselves from being soul slayed. Hopefully, right? And then basically what we're hoping is he can't hurt us with those attacks. And we are able to... He doesn't have much health. We just need a couple of successful hits. 1 or 2 successful hits to pop this guy. Guy casts Luck. Casts Empower Magic Beings. Ooh, he cast Empower Magic Beings. So now he actually hits 4 points harder on all of these, and that's scary. He Soul Slays. We resist. Prayer of Earth. Celestial Chastisement. I don't even know what that is. But whatever it is, we resist. Okay. Another Celestial. Ooh, Chastisement. We get hit with that. And then we take... Oh, we take a couple of hits from his tentacles. And then just immediately kill him. Soul Slay missed. Or resisted. On those two Soul Slays. Celestial Chastisement did 7 points of damage. Then 4 points of damage. We regenerated through that, fortunately. Hit us in the leg for 2 points of damage. Hit for 0. Hit for 1. Hit for 1. Hit for 0. So even with that buff, he still just wasn't quite able to get through our protections. Right? 28 protection plus resistances, basically. So that went really well. And then we just popped him. Insta-popped. Monketsina hit Slime Horror for 21 points of damage. Jeez. And then Monketsina hit Mind Slime Warrior with a ranged attack, the cold proc from the... So we didn't get to do any birds or anything like that. No of those. It was just the Frost brand, full killed. 21 damage and then 7 from the cold. Popped the 28 HP. So that's pretty funny. Cool. Alright, so that was a victory there. We attacked into Ossuary. And this was with our flying Wuya. What did we run into? We ran into a very little group. So should be good. Should be good.
It should be good.
It should be good. So we've got normal casts, Iron Skin, Strength of Gaia, Summon Earth Power, Temper Armor. Cool. We're sitting at 29 armor, 24 defense, 4 reinvigoration. Because this guy is not reinvigoration neutral because he has the wing shoes on. So that is something to be cautious about. But we can also just immediately land on the rear and pop. And with that, the leadership is broken. Easy peasy. Very good. Wow. And anything that gets earth softened just basically sticks around. That's kind of funny. So, Ossuary, we get a couple kills. Another temple. Again, Kangobia has a pretty large... territory. So, I think they have a lot of income. So each of these temples isn't the end of the world, but it takes time and money to get temples up like this. So losing these units, significantly less of a concern for Kangobia compared to losing these temples, I would say. That's my assumption anyways. Like, losing the units, whatever, he's got 5,000 more where that came from. Kind of like Ermor, right? It's whatever. You killed 100 skeletons, I don't give a shit. I got 3,000 sitting next door. It's fine, right? But losing the temple is a pain in the ass because now he's got to take that land back. He's got to get someone out there. He's got to temple it back up. He's got to pay to temple it back up. Pain in the ass. There is a battle between Phasia and Lemuria. There's a very small Phasian force here in... and I think they're trying to escape, right? I think maybe they broke the siege here. Ooh, and this is... Yeah, they're all communion mastering. Maybe they had a fight somewhere else that I didn't get to see, and this is the Remnants. Because this doesn't seem to make much sense. Yeah, it feels like these are individuals that fled. Because look at what they're casting. This is not the script that Phasia would have put on. Yeah, these are communion masters to a larger battle that must have run and then got caught here. Very unfortunate, though. Okay. So lost those 4 Colossi Weavers, Lost 7 Hestatus, whatever. Hastati. Okay, we have a battle in Ukrema. Another Wuya. Up against another very small amount. Some Blackhawks are going to come in, interrupt casting for a very brief amount of time. Not enough for us to not get everything up. Easy peasy. Alright, all good. Couple kills in Ukrema. Another battle in Bitra. Maybe this was the original battle. Phasia attacking. This is going to be weird if this was the original battle. Again, maybe something happened. Maybe he was trying to, like, combine these forces, or maybe he was trying to run those forces away, and there was some misscripting. But I think probably the most likely thing is there was a battle elsewhere, and then they retreated to this location. Although I'm not sure that makes sense, right? Because if you retreat, wouldn't you retreat to a province that you owned? Does it count as you owning the province if the province is being sieged? That seems a little strange. So the issue here is that these guys have better health and kind of better stats, right, than the Lemurian units. But the Lemurian units are spectral, and these guys do not have they don't have magic weapons, so they just can't really hit them. So eventually they kill enough of the Colossi break, and that's that. Victory in Bitra for Lemuria. So we've seen Phasia go up against Lemuria and just destroy them, but they have to have that mage core in order to do so. And apparently, there's just been battles that we've missed where Lemuria, I think, has won out in some of those battles and been able to kill off some of Phasia's mage core. I also think Phasia might be being harassed by other enemies. I'm not sure, though. Alright, we've got a battle here in Numecria. Aha! Okay, so this is like round 2 of what we watched last turn with the God of Marverni dying, and this is just cleanup. This is almost nothing that can be done by the Marverni remnant forces, and that's it. That's all they have. We can see the God of Marverni has been permanently vanquished this turn. We can also see the God of Man has been permanently vanquished this turn, so they're kind of a little bit of a reveal there, but we kind of expected what we were going into. So, we have not very much here. There's a couple trolls. There are some forest giants. There are a smattering of crones here, right? There is the little bitty lich. Bones of St. Elvis, the demi-lich. 4/4/4. Very cool. And then kind of, I mean, there's these Adepts of the Silver Order. Those guys are great. But then kind of like the potentially issue, or the potential issue units are these Draconians, right? Because they are flyers, and they do hit pretty hard. If they get in and amongst my mages, then that could be a really bad thing for us. We've got a bunch of units spread out, though, as kind of like flight catchers, though, so hopefully we will be good. And then we just have the massive line of Katsinas and Chacoan archers. So let's just watch this from kind of like a big scale and see how it goes. The archers immediately are going to start flying, or letting loose on the kind of like mage line, archer line, right? We put a howl up. We have a Draconian drop in, but most of them are on hold, apparently. Light of the Northern Star goes up. Now the majority of the Draconians go. We've got some air elementals in the back, and this was perfect. All of these Draconians, they got caught in this back portion, fighting against the ants and the Chacoan elites, right? Very, very good for us. We actually end up killing, I think, more of our own units with things like hatchets and arrows and thunder strikes and shit like that than we get harmed by the enemy, but still, interesting enough. The air elementals do a good job of distracting things, while our Katsinas do a good job of just generally killing things. Good stuff. I'm very glad that we did not do a flaming arrows, because I think had we done that, we would have lost quite a bit more. And then we just kind of our core back here, right, finishes up doing what they were doing, and they like doing all of their buffs and everything like that. Because as soon as the communion is done with their script, they want to default to the situation where they're like, okay, let's just buff, which is kind of annoying, right? But as soon as they get done with that buffing cycle, then they start to go, okay, now it's time to soul slay the shit out of everything left, and they do a pretty good job of finishing that off. So cool. All right, pretty handy victory for us. We lost 15 Chacoan archers, 4 ant warriors, 9 Chacona leech, 6 Katsina warriors. This was versus 82 units, so I mean, honestly, pretty decent. Again, I think the majority of the damage that we did might have been to ourselves. This was 7, 8, 9, 10, 16, 24, 27 kills. So 27 out of the 35 kills were potentially from the enemy. Oh, well, nope, the longbowmen also did a good job. So, actually, yeah, no, they account for more kills. We probably did still kill some of our own stuff. Actually, I think it doesn't count wolves and all this, and the air elementals, so those were probably a number of the kills done here. Still, I think not a big loss overall. We did lose one of our crystal sorceresses. I want to watch this again and see what happened to her. Try to kind of like keep an eye on things. Don't see any flyers land or anything like that. Don't see any like stray thunderbolts. Looking to see if just like someone gets an arrow, like a random arrow headshot. I also kind of just want to see. Is that it? That's not it. Alright, it's not showing us. Okay. Let us take a look at some people here. Fatigue. Fatigue is 91. Fatigue is 101. Fatigue is 93. Fatigue is 92. So, kind of doing okay. Could use more slaves, potentially, if we want this to go longer. Like, if this was a big fight, we would have to worry, because now that we're into this kind of, like, Soul Slay spam and Blade Wind and Thunderstrike spam, etc., we'd probably start to cause issues in the very near future. Let's check and see if we can't find that unit and see what happened with her. That was Crystal Sorceress over here. So she got hit at the very beginning is what it was. She was a Communion Master. Her spellcast was interrupted, and she got hit, pinged in the head with a longbow. Yeah. As it happens. I just didn't see it at the beginning. Okay, cool. So we won there. We found an endless bag of wine. I think that might have been off of one of our crystal sorceresses, but maybe not. Found an owl quill. Found two owl quills. Cool. We actually need to double check that because I forgot we found those. Anyways, those are all the battles. Unexpected event in Blue Moss Forest. The inhabitants of the forest are attacking the local administration for burning the forest. We lost population in Dardania. Chico and Star Priest is wounded in Jareb. And in Kunaral, we get 10 water gems. Very nice. There's a battle in Blue Moss Forest. We're not going to watch it. It's a bunch of dryads attacking our retreating scout. But now they're sitting on top of Blue Moss Forest. We find a scout in... Where was this? In Dardania. And then this is really annoying. A sneaking enemy was discovered by a patrolling unit. In Chaco, we find 4 sneaking werewolves. Like, all right then. And ever since the battle with Ind on our capital, we've never quite replaced our PD. So I think it was only sitting at like 8 or 9, which was not enough to deal with this. Probably wouldn't have been enough to deal with this even at 20, unfortunately. So we have that weird scenario of having our cap under siege now by Indies, which is a pain in the ass. We'll be able to knock them off very easily, but that's a turn that we lose of recruitment and etc. Kind of a pain. All right, what are we doing? We are moving a Hmong Katsina up to Ablak and recruiting a new Hmong Katsina in Woven Plain, just to, again, try to have a Hmong Katsina everywhere. Continuing to move Sorceress 9 up towards Pastena. We are moving another Crystal Sorceress up towards Pastena. Sork 13 and 14 going up there. We're continuing to keep the pressure up. And it's at this point that I want to clarify, because I was not aware of this earlier. I am not actually fighting Boz. Boz is the host of this game and the creator of the mod that we're working on, or mod that we are playing on. He is working on the mod. That is who the original person playing Kangobia was, and who we had originally started fighting, 10, 15 turns ago. 10, 15 turns ago, almost 20 turns ago now, I think. But Boz has had to sub out for personal reasons. And I just now became aware of that, so I want to make it clear, right? Hey, I found out I'm not fighting against that person, so it's probably likely I've made references in the last, 10 turns to that individual, but I have no idea of when the sub happened, so take all of that experience with a grain of salt, okay? Anyways, we are going to continue to put pressure. We are attacking in a number of different locations. We're moving, trying to utilize the winged shoes that we have to gain advantages in different areas. We are attacking into the halls, which is pretty important because the halls is how Kangobia can get to our location faster by going through the halls and then down into Faldenberg. Otherwise, they have to come down from Pustinia into either Peacehaven or Insepne, and then through Endless Plain, and then through the Ossuary, and then through Takregus, and then kind of into the area. So it's way more steps to go this way than it is to just jump from the halls down to Faldenberg. So we want to try to hit that and cause some issues. There are potentially Kingub Shamans here. I'm hopeful that the setup that we have currently is going to work just fine, but fingers crossed. We'll see. We are attacking into Esepni. Again, I can't really see up here. I should have a scout up here, but I do not. I do. I just have him in Pistinia. With the hope there being that, again, we're going to try to find another temple, cause some issues. But Lanka had been fighting up here and raiding around here, so it's possible that Lanka's already popped some of these temples, and Kangobia has not been able to put them back in. So there is that. We want to keep that in mind. We're transferring Hmong 6 over into Ossuary, hopefully to hit any counterattacks. We're not doing anything in Blue Moss Forest because there are Indies there, and I want him to deal with his own Indies. We'll see how that goes. We are now gonna be sneaking. We didn't get hit. We didn't get rebuffed with our scouts in Faldenberg. So that's very good. I'm very happy about that. So we're gonna sneak those scouts, one back into Blue Moss, one into Teklegus, to kind of get some more eyes over here, right? And then I think, we are putting Mong 9 onto Faldenberg, again, trying to kind of like halt progression or things that he can try to do. Moving Wuya 9 over to Old Man. Wuya 9 is going to be our Foul Vapors Wuya for the Old Man Force. We have a Foul Vapors Wuya 15 over for the Pestina Force. Now that we have Enchantment 7, we have the ability to throw in Serpent's Blessing into all of our big groups, which means out of the gate, Serpent's Blessing, next thing up, Foul Vapors. I'm assuming Kengobi already has access to Serpent's Blessing and that it's not going to be a big deal, but if he doesn't, that is a really big deal. We are going to take this opportunity, and then we're moving Mong 7 into Grifa just as kind of like a backup. We are taking this opportunity to build a temple in Old Man, to start recruiting in Old Man, and to research for at least a turn in Old Man. This is going to push us through Alteration, and it's not going to get us... Alteration 4, it's not going to get us through Alt 5, but we will be very, very close to being done with... we'll be done with Alt 5. We won't be done with Alt 6, but we will be very, very close to being done with Alt 6. And then, obviously, getting through Alt 6 to Alt 7 is going to take a handful of turns. So... will be Alt 5 next turn. Alt 5 doesn't get us anything crazy that we're super crazy about, right? It gets us plenty of things, but nothing that we're like, oh my god, this is the next thing, the next big step, right? This is gonna boo. So we'll take what we can get in it. There's a couple of interesting things, some fire buffs, some water buffs. Iron Warriors can be very useful, but it's very small. Maws of the Earth, I think, might be one of the most useful things here. So that's pretty cool, but, yeah. Wooden Warriors, again, we're going for, something like Gaia's Warding or Mass Protection. So, level 5, Alteration 5 is just a means to an end. So we'll get Alt 5 this turn. The following turn we'll get Alt 6, and hopefully 2 to 3 turns. It will either be 2 to 3 turns depending on whether or not we're moving armies. We'll have Alt 7 then. And then it's a decision of where we want to go from there, right? We can continue rushing up Alt if we really want to try to focus on our armies, right? Trying to get things like Warriors of Muspelheim, not Warriors of Muspelheim, Warriors of Niflheim, right? To add fire resistance into the mix so that we can counteract things like Gaia's Warding. Or just trying to get up to something like Army of Gold. With the full Alt 9 scenario, we go into... right, we can use Gaia's Warding if we want to, but it can cause some issues. But it basically works as like a mass regeneration for us. So we can use that without having to go get mass regeneration yet. Then we can do Will of the Fates, which is luck across the whole battlefield. And then we can do something like Army of Gold, which would be really good. So we got a long ways before we get to that, though. And I don't know that we're going to run from Alt 7 up to Alt 9. We might, as I said, right, there's some really good stuff that we get in Conjuration. We're very close to some things. Conjuration 6 gets us Yayapanzas, but we can't make use of them yet. Not really. I think maybe actually we can. We'll double check that. But even if we can't, Conjuration 7 gets us a Coyote, and the Coyote can and will summon Yayapanzas, and then the Yayapanzas can summon themselves. So, alright. Is there anything else? There's nothing else movement-wise. We have, you can see, our income is kind of ridiculous right now. Obviously, that's because we just you know, we just took Old Man. That's 480. I don't really understand how. I know we lost a fair amount of population in Chaco, but damn, we are 10k behind Old Man in population, which is fucking fierce. And we just gained like 1,500 off of a pop migration event. Damn, that's really unfortunate how much we have been set behind from the pop event early on. But regardless, we have a whole bunch of income. Again, primarily it's because we're inheriting really good land. Crema is an 85 income province, 450 from Old Man, 50 from Takaregus, 85 from Osiri, etc. Right? So we're making a lot of additional income that we're probably not going to be making in the very near future. We're dumping it all on units, knights and Chacoan archers in certain places, mostly Chacoan armored warriors and archers in other places. I've kind of like swapped on my preference. I think Chacoan elite warriors have a purpose, but I don't generally like them. I think Chacoan armored warriors have ended up being better in... I've played some single-player games, or I've been playing some single-player games just to kind of like flex what my future plans for Chaco are. And almost always, the Chacoan armored warriors end up performing better because they just... One, I tend to have more of them, and two, they have hats... which helps protect them from the fucking archers, and it also just means that they get buffs, right? Legions of Steel works way better on them. They already have base 10 protection, so when they get hit with something like Army of Gold, plus the base 10 protection, and then if you hit them with stuff like Legions of Steel, these guys end up with, like, pretty crazy fucking high protection. And at size 2, shoving all of them, shoving 3 of them into a square, they're not great. They still don't do a lot of damage, right? But they're not horrible. They're not the worst thing in existence, especially if you can get some other buffs in on them, right? And DE has a lot of additional weird buffs. So we're doing, we are recruiting in basically every location. Of course, I pick like the one location we're not. Okay, so Jereb, we're recruiting mages in every location, and then we're recruiting... Okay, just for my own sanity, Jereb doesn't get the mage, and Vongar does get the mage. Okay, now only Jereb is the odd man out. Everyone else is getting, you know, mages and units. Well, not mages and units. We're doing some Kusharis over in Northia to replace the Kushari that we lost in Chaco. We're attacking in Chaco. We're sending out Mong 8 with a group of the Jade Maidens, just blessing a couple times, and then the Jade Maidens will be able to kill the... Oh, no they won't. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, we don't have magic weapons. We intentionally didn't take magic weapons because our Hmong Katsinas have magic weapons. I'm very glad that I remembered that. So we're going to send some Katsina, or Hmong Katsinas, some Katsina warriors out. They have magic weapons. They'll make very short work of the werewolves. We'll get them blessed up. All good. Most of our forging this turn is normal stuff. Firebrands. Again, replacing gear. So we're doing a firebrand and a stone bird. But we're also doing more boosters. Water bracelets over here. A crystal coin over here. What else do we got? Storm spool. To swap out for burning pearls and things like that. Because we have some Armor of Knights now. We want to probably start using Armor of Knights when possible, because it's such a massive protection boost compared to Copper Plate, right? But we have to be able to defend ourselves from shock. The Storm Spool is a pretty good response to losing the Copper Plate. Not a perfect adjustment, but pretty good. What else do we got going on? got... forging more winged shoes. Forging another thistle mace. Basically, we're trying to gear up so that we make sure we have thistle maces on our important wuyas, so that they can cast things like Relief or Serpent's Blessing or Gaia's Warding, those types of things easier, without having to soup up or have 15,000 additional gems on them, etc., that type of thing. So we're just trying to go ahead and get that out of the way. We are empowering our Adept of the Silver Order. So this will put them at Astral 4 with a Skull Cap and a Crystal Coin. They'll be at Astral 6. Astral 6 will allow them to make a Ring of Sorcery. That will put them at Astral 7, which will allow them to make a Ring of Wizardry. If we want to, we don't have to, right? Obviously. But it's an option. And then another thing that we're doing is we are sending up a Jade, a Water 2 Jade Sorceress up to Pistina. And the reason why we're doing this is because I think we have such a large amount of water gems right now. I think we're probably going to move into Kidnids, potentially really early. Because I think Kidnids are going to be pretty good options against Kangobia. I think they have, again, good armor. We're going to be able to summon a fair amount of them. The Awe, I think, is going to be very helpful. They take buffs pretty well, etc. So I think that's probably going to be a good option for us. We're going to continue to forge water bracelets so that we have a couple of them. We have one here in High Peaks. We have the Jade Sork here that's moving from Smacia up to Pistina. We have the one here in Chaco. I think we have another. Maybe we don't. We might actually try to fish for some more. But basically, we've got a pretty good amount of... I want to spread those out so that we can respond to potential threats by summoning more fucking Kidnids into different locations. But I think Kidnids are going to be a pretty useful option for us. I think Kidnids will do okay versus Vermor. I think they'll do okay versus Atlantis, potentially. Until, like, later on. If someone starts doing, like, Murdering Winter, they're going to die in droves. I really, at the end of the day, I hate that we went cold for Chaco. I would do very different things doing this this game from the beginning again. But that's okay. Like, I'm still having fun with it. Continuing to recruit everything else, everywhere else. And then with all of our leftover hammers, we are forging more lightless lanterns. So, pretty excited about that. Should be good. Trying to see if there's anything else crazy that we're doing this turn. I don't think so. I think that is about it. Still just not having a great time of it on Earth Gems. The increase cost on Dwarven Hammers is really harsh. You got to think, so Dwarven Hammers being 18 gems, they reduce gem cost by 2. So if you produce a Dwarven Hammer, it costs 18 gems, right? You have to do 9 turns of crafting with that hammer every single turn before you recoup your losses. But it's such a concentrated amount in Earth, which is a very vital source for us, that it's incredibly... And obviously, of course, when yeah, but you can immediately take 2 of those turns away by making a hammer, or not 2 of those turns, 1 of those turns away by making a hammer with a hammer. Yeah, of course, obviously, right? Like, I'm not talking about all of the efficiencies with it, but generally speaking, right? You've increased the return on investment for hammers by 3 turns, right? Because normally at 15, and again, I'm not talking hammer used to make hammer. Of course you're going to use that, but that just bumps it down 1, right? Your first hammer, etc., right? So your first hammer, I guess it's 2, right? 2 additional turns. Yeah. So, you know, it's just kind of tough. Like, it's a lot to... You feel it, I guess, is the thing that I'm trying to say. You definitely feel it. Also, can I get some prayers for fucking fire sites? Because we've been auguring for a while now. If we take a look, like, through... We've got a lot of our nation searched in fire. And we do not have that much fire income. 13 fire income? Oof. Big oof. Big oof. Alright. I've been just kind of like rambling about a whole bunch of different things. That is it for the turn. I'm kind of excited to see where this goes in the next few turns against Chaco. Things are kind of actually heated up. I still think we're one bad battle away from Chaco from just losing. And honestly, like, I don't have Chaco... I don't have Chaco's demise in mind. But I would like to basically push Chaco off of this section. The central kind of like, whatever the fuck this is called. I don't think this is called... This is the Moon of Silent Seas. But I don't know if this is also counted as the Moon of Silent Seas. Right? I don't know. Whatever the fuck this central portion is called, I just want to, like, take this. I just want this to be me. And then I would like to be like, okay, well, that's it. Goodbye. Peace. Kangobia. Have fun down here on Arkea. Goodbye. I do not want to deal with you anymore. But I don't think that's going to happen. We'll see how it goes. Alright, that's it for the turn. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.